In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am your host, Sean Donnelly. We are switching things up this week. We have, once again, our buddy Andy Fiori has come back in to be second mic.
Hey.
Andy Fiori!
What's
How
up,
are you,
man?
buddy?
Good to be back.
Thank you so much for coming. We don't have Farrah this week. We're figuring things out for the podcast. But we're so glad to have you. We appreciate you doing it. And how's everything going? How are you?
Good, man. Glad to be back. I love this.
I appreciate having you. It was such a blast last time.
Yeah, it was fun.
The masses were clamoring. Our 100,000 listeners a month
Good.
were like,
Clamor.
Andy. They were digitally going, Andy.
All right, good.
Andy.
I'm glad.
Come back. You just did my radio show on Sirius Satellite Radio. That went really well.
Celebrate.
And then I saw you at the cellar the other night, and you're like drinking whiskeys, and I was like, you're like a bunch of whiskeys. I was like, dude, you gonna be able to do your spot? Like after, and you're like, yeah. And then I realized, I'm like, as I'm telling you that, because I wasn't drinking, it's so
Right.
funny how your mind changes when you're not drinking. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're both big guys. I'm like, I could do the same thing. I could have 3 shots of whiskey and 3 beers, and I'd be fine doing my spots.
Yeah, it might have been a little too much, to be
Oh,
honest.
was it?
You know the other thing that I shouldn't do, because I kind of saved up all my drinking till I had 3 spots that night, and then the last one at 125, I'm like...
And you drank
All right.
in between, right before the last
few,
spot.
Yeah, in between, and then I was... between. You know how this goes sometimes when it's like you do 3 shows, and then when you got a little booze and I started going over my head, I'm like... Oh, did I already do that joke
Yes.
during this set?
Yes.
And I wanted to go, yep.
Uh-oh.
But we kind of became a fun thing. and I
Oh,
was
that's
just like-
good. Yeah.
So
normally people are on board. That's funny.
Yeah.
I've been in both spots where I've said it out loud and they're like shaking their heads. No, like what are you talking about?
Right.
And I've had it where somebody goes,
I'm like, is that this show or was it the last show that I did that bit on? You know,
that happens a lot is the road. You ever like when you do a long
Totally,
road?
totally.
Because you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I've heard a story about. I won't say who it was. I heard a story about a famous comic once that did some road show, like some club, a Funny Bone, and he was doing like the Saturday Late Show, and he did 25 minutes, and he had like a brain fart, and he just started from the beginning and did the same 25 minutes.
oh my god,
It's pretty crazy. Well, we're here at the Showbiz Studios. That's showbizstudios.com. It's run by Alex Brazel. He is our benefactor. Would that be the right? I don't know if that's the right word or not. He is in charge of making getting the great show to you. He's the guy who gets the podcast out and really helps us organize this whole thing. And I wanted to mention, like, his studio's inside his apartment. We're not going to say where that is, but it's right outside. It's right near. We'll say in the vicinity of an awesome. I don't know why I've never mentioned this on the podcast before. 'Cause it's a movie podcast of an awesome movie locale.
first thing I think of whenever I walk
When you
by
come
here.
over here, yeah, it's right at. We're right near the corner of where 7B is the bar
Yeah.
is. And if you guys don't know what 7B's is, it's a famous New York City bar that's been used in like countless movies and
Countless
TV shows.
Law and Orders.
Because it has that old city looking bar,
Horseshoe bar.
old man look inside and also outside, like Crocodile Dundee when he talks to the 2 hookers. It's outside 7B.
Yep.
The one that we're talking about, the famous locale, is when in Godfather 2, when Frank Pentangeli, he goes into the bar and Danny Aiello chokes him out and says, Michael Corleone says hello. And he chokes him out in the phone booth and they hide and the cop comes in.
Yeah.
There's a huge shootout in the street.
Just come in to clean up a little bit.
That is
You open or closed.
somebody should do that. Like that's always,
I love that.
Somebody should do a class on bartender acting in TV and movies. Because, dude, I would take it because the roles that when I go out for roles, it's always a one-line thing. Like I went I went out for a role in John Wick 2 once, and it was just the bartender. He kills a guy with a pencil in the bar, and the bartender just goes, "Whoa." It's just whoa. It's just the word whoa. But there's a way to do that to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Just go, whoa. Whoa.
No,
Whoa.
and then there's the big shootout scene that's really recognizable because this bar has these two oval doors, and they're
can't miss
super
it.
recognizable.
Yes.
And then you see it in the movie, you go, 7B.
Yes.
I love that place.
Immediately when you go there.
Great jukebox, by the way, too.
Great jukebox. It's a
Phenomenal
great
jukebox.
bar.
Great
It's a
bar.
really great bar. I used to go there when I was way younger, but I haven't gone there in a while.
Not to disparage the bar in any way, but I was there. It's a dive bar, first of all. We should
100%.
And I was on a very first date with a girl, and she was a young comic, and I think it might have been in my head. I thought it was more of a date, and I think she was just kind of feeling out,
like
comedy
hanging out?
climbing.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So we go to this place because she lived in this neighborhood. I'm like, how about 7B? I haven't been there in a while. We're sitting at the bar, and I'm facing her as I'm facing you right now, looking at her. So my back is kind of to the bar like this.
Yeah.
I see it happen in her face where she just looks down and her eyes get wide, and then just a rat comes walking down the bar, hops onto a bar stool, hops down, and runs to the back of the bar.
Oh, my God.
I swear to God, that's how it happens.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was just like...
That's fun. And then she freaked out.
She was mildly pretty okay with it, actually.
Maybe he was just drinking at the bar. Maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those Muppets rats.
Yeah. Maybe it was
with a job.
Ratatouille.
This was,
Like, it's used for movies, so it's like maybe they're filming Ratatouille.
It was just one of those New York City moments where you're like, all right. And everybody just kept on drinking, where you're like, yep, that's
It's
New
like,
York.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We were at, I guess I'll say where it is. It's Karma. That's right near here as well.
Yeah.
I think you just, certain areas like Lower East Side, I don't think you can escape the rats. I think if you had,
No.
if you had rat vision, like say you had glasses that just gave you, you should be able to see where all the rats were. You would
Yeah, the
leave
They
New
Live
York
glasses.
in 15 seconds. What'd you say?
The glasses from They Live.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Rat Party movie.
But you just see rats. You're not seeing what is that? Who the zombies are? Who the
Yeah, you can see like who the aliens are
who the
when you
aliens
put the
are.
sunglasses on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This would be just to see in New York City who the rats are.
Oh my God.
Where the rats are. So like if you look down into the street, you could just see tons of rats.
Ugh, I don't want that.
And you'd be out of New York in a second. You kind of have to walk around New York in this weird, like, ignorant bliss where, like, you're like, I know, like, there's, like, you just something moving. You're like, that's got to be a rat.
Yeah.
I'm like, keep going.
Yeah.
And we were at this place, Karma, and I'm sure it's cleaned up by now, but we were filming a sketch one day, me and my friends, and then we're all there, and they have the bar downstairs, and behind the bottles, we heard ding, 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 and just crawling behind the bottles was like a fucking insane 2-foot rat.
I know.
It was just really, really, and we're like, ah! And there was girls there, and they were freaking out. We were all freaking out. I was like, ah! And just ran up the stairs for a couple, like, what is that? You know?
Yeah.
So that's just part of living in New York. That's why, dude, if it wasn't for comedy, and I mentioned comedy a lot in this podcast, I'd be so gone.
I know, I think about that a
I'd
lot.
be so gone.
Yeah.
I've got my street cred. I've been here long enough.
Right.
I'm fine. I've dealt with the city.
Yeah.
Give me Oregon. Give me Hawaii. That's what I want so bad. But yeah, so there's tons of movie locales, but that one really is like, it might be the most famous one in New York.
I think so.
Besides, like, there's probably some, like, deli or something, like, you know, or Cats is When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
But that one scene was filmed there. Actually, there's probably a few movies that filmed the Katz's. But they have, literally, if you go to Katz's Deli, which is not far from here either,
right.
where the table where they filmed it,
Yeah, they have that.
they have a sign above it.
Right, but yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever come to New York, if you don't live here, and you could just you just Google movie locations New York, you'll get an endless list.
I'm sure there's a walking tour of some sorts,
There's
too.
gotta
That's
be.
probably fun.
There's got to be. But it's really cool. We have a movie podcast, and we're across the street from.
Yeah.
And it's good. Crocodile Dundee is pretty cool, but when you say Godfather, you're like, that's legit.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
just you know, because even the place. I think the place where is it? One of the funerals from The Godfather is where my dad. It's Holy Rood, I think, out in Long Island, and where my
wow.
dad's buried.
That's
it's the same,
crazy.
cemetery. Yeah. I think it's that one. It's I forget whose cemetery, whose funeral it is. But yeah, thanks for doing the show, man.
Of course,
really
man.
appreciate it.
I love
and, yeah, what we want to do this week is the day that I saw you, the whiskey day. And you know what it is? And I'm a whiskey guy as well, but I haven't been drinking for 4 days.
Yeah.
So I hypersensitivity notice when somebody, you know, like, oh, he's having a beer and whiskey, and
That's what I
wish
like
could
having.
do that. Exactly. So we were talking, and we were trying to figure out if we did an episode with just me and you, what we were going to do. And because also, like you said, we're very like-minded when it comes to movie stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
taste.
Movie taste.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things you said to me that I freaked out a little bit, and then you You do that thing where you said it, and I went, "Are you kidding me? What about this?" And you go, "Save it for the podcast."
Yeah.
Save it for the podcast. You're a Scorsese fan, obviously, because
love him.
you're a white male who's not. What white male is not? Have you met a white guy who's not a Scorsese fan?
It's hard to find somebody.
Even a black guy who's not a Scorsese. Mob movies, big with black dudes.
Totally.
Yeah. So you're a Scorsese fan, but we did differ in one part.
Yep.
You are not a fan of The Departed.
Nope.
Not even like you. Let me ask you this.
I hate it.
Well, you hate it. Wow, Alex, you heard that? Holy cow! Alex, our producer, he couldn't believe it either when he said it. And we would like to start off with our new format is we're doing verses from now on. We're not doing you just defending The Departed because The Departed is a great movie, but to make it even more fun, I'm gonna say you would say Wolf of Wall Street is better than The Departed.
I would say, yeah, it is.
Wow, this is insane to me because. All right,
I'll defend Wolf of Wall Street against Departed.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what you would be. Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street is a good movie, but Departed is like that's the bread and butter. That's the meat of the meat and potatoes of a Scorsese movie. That's in the world. That's his world, baby. That's what you want. Oh
God, no! It's I don't know where I should start.
What?
I don't know where to start.
Well, I want to tell you this. I'm going to take a shot real quick. Even though I know I'm going to get shit for saying this, it did win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And that does count on my side of things.
That does count for you, but it's the we're sorry we didn't give you this before for Raging Bull and Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And it's a real makeup Oscar.
But it's still an Oscar.
If I would like to know what the other movies were in Best Picture that year, Alex, if you could look it up, because I don't know that off the top of my head, just to see what it was up against.
For Departed? It was a good year. It was 2008, I think.
I just don't know. I just want to know what the other ones are.
2007.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
You want to go on the mic, Alex? And yeah, get the list. No. All right, so I'd like to hear you want to plead your case of why is Wolf of Wall Street? Because here's the thing. My thing is this. I want to take another shot where I say Wolf of Wall Street is like it's a finance version of a Scorsese movie. It's like he's in his element, but it's not. Don't get me wrong. I like Wolf of Wall Street. That's the problem. I do like it. It's a good movie. I think DiCaprio's great in it, but I think that when Scorsese with Departed, it just feels like home. You're like it's almost like you're getting a piece. It's almost like you're getting a piece of Goodfellas back. You'll never get Goodfellas again because it was so groundbreaking and it was so amazing.
Departed is just corny to me.
It's
they have to, all right.
Maybe you have to be Irish. Maybe when you're Irish, it's not as corny because you're like, yeah, that's me. I'm from the streets.
So it's a weird list, but they have Departed,
give it to me, baby.
Babel.
Well,
Letters
Babel was
from Iwo Jima.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Little Miss Sunshine and The Queen.
Yeah, what were you going to pick on that list?
Wait, so Departed won Best Picture?
Of course it did. That's a garbage year, man.
Little Miss Sunshine, great movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Best Picture.
But here's the thing. But to Oscar, it usually is. To be honest, that's what proves that it's a makeup. Because otherwise, any other year, Little Miss Sunshine would have won.
I mean,
because they love that indie, and it's also if it was now, Little Miss Sunshine would have won because of girl power and
yeah, you're probably right about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the fact that Dances with Wolves won over Goodfellas is one of the most biggest atrocities to me.
Yeah.
On earth ever.
Because nobody talks about
it's a piece of shit movie.
Yeah, nobody.
There's no talking for like a half hour.
Well, I don't mind that either because the first 10 minutes of There Will Be Blood is no talking, and it's really interesting.
Phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's great.
But you're right. Dances with Wolves, it didn't hold up, did it?
No, I don't think it was ever up.
Well,
I don't think it was ever held.
And I loved Goodfellas right away.
Absolutely.
I saw it in the theaters, and I was like 12. No, I was. It came out 90. Yeah, I was 12.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah.
And I think my dad took me to see it in the theater. That's how fucking deranged our family was. And when it came to movies, my dad did not pay attention to the ratings. He did not care about violence or nudity. What'd you say?
My Aunt Sylvia would be like our babysitter when my parents went out. It was my dad's sister, and she would just take us to everything. It was
really?
Great. Yeah, T2, Terminator, Judgment Day, which I was like 13 when that came out. You know,
I remember my dad took me to Lethal Weapon 2. That was where Patsy Kennett's boobs. Oh,
yeah, there was so many more tits. You know, a lot more tits.
Think about when you were 12 and you saw tits in a movie, and you were like, "This is it."
And I feel like you can still get away with a PG-13 rating and have some tits in there.
I don't know if you can do that. I don't know
Not
if they
anymore.
Have that.
But I feel like
back
you
then,
could.
probably,
yeah.
But like the Weapon movies, they always had nudity in those because even the first one had like a strip club scene or whatever it was. But I remember when you see boobs so few and far between that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing boobs. Especially like women's boobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like adult women's boobs.
Yeah,
Like, you're not
yeah.
making out with a girl and she lets you see your boobs. Like, when you're 14 and you're 12, 13. It's like, oh my God, this is like
I know.
hot older woman's boobs.
Yeah.
Like, and also Patsy Kensit, it's unbelievable.
I think Stripes might have been like one of the early movies where I saw boobs. It was like on Cinemax, and I remember like my mom walking through it, like dragging me. I'm like, "What are you watching?" Because there's that shower scene or whatever.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, I don't know if you have this thing too. Whenever I see like, you can obviously nowadays see tits whenever you want, but then I see it in like a movie, I'm like, "Hey, boobs."
Yeah. Oh no, it brings you back to when you were 13.
You're like, was that a tit?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, you freak out. You love it. You're like, oh my God, this is great. You know, it's almost like, and it doesn't get you as much as it would have. Think about all that stuff that's first. Like you go to strip clubs when you were like 20.
Yeah,
21.
I went when I was 18.
I went when I was 18.
When we were 18.
We went to Wiggles.
Frank's Chicken House.
Frank's Chicken House?
In Jersey.
Oh my God, that's one of those like suburban ones?
Yeah, it was like one of the
we had
urban
those.
legend ones where you're like, yeah.
I wonder if we talked about strip clubs on the podcast before, but ours was, there was a place on Springfield Boulevard in Queens called Fickle Phillies. There was two. There was one called Fickle Phillies, and then out in Long Beach, one called Bare Necessities. And they were both famous for how shoddy they were, because Fickle Phillies almost went as a novelty. Like, because literally, if you
What are they fickle about?
Right, exactly. What are these Phillies fickle about? Well, I'll tell you what they're fickle about. Working out, because it was usually... It was usually like, I don't know, 65-year-old lady
like
in front of a dirty sheet with a boombox, and she's just dancing with a boombox.
Hilarious.
Oh, and then Bare Necessities was out in Long Beach. It might even still be there. Who knows? And if you got a lap dance there, you sat on a kicked keg. It was a keg that was empty, and they put a sheet over a keg, and you sat there, and you had a lap dance. It was almost like this is part of the charm of the place.
Yeah.
It was like when people go, like, when girls probably go to a bed and breakfast, like, this is nice.
This is what the wrestler went to. You know?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the wrestler! This is where Marissa Tomei worked. Right, she's trying to get out of. So, yeah, dude. So, tell me, I haven't given you a chance yet. Tell me why you want to start with your hate for The Departed, or you want to start with...
I think it's I think it has every trope that you could hit about, like, the Boston accents, the unnecessary characters, the plot devices. Like, Nicholson, first of all, I hate his character in the movie.
Yeah.
He has an awful Boston accent.
As I'm sitting here, you know what, Alex? You might convince me by the end of this. You know, I'm shaking because I'm like...
But Nicholson does the worst Boston. Why you got to have Alec Baldwin there doing the... I mean, you got everybody who can do an... I might have... They didn't have Affleck. That was the only guy.
Alec Baldwin's Trump impression stinks, but I like him in this. I think he's great. But his accent is not great. But he's funny in it. Yes.
Okay, which movie has the better comedy? Which movie is more quotable? Which movie has the better lines? You cannot
Departed.
Yeah, of course.
Departed. Departed has better lines in it.
Yeah, Departed. I mean,
it's like, you're not a
more
cop.
quotable.
It's like Copland. Copland has a great line.
My quote processes.
Wahlberg has some great lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
My quote processes. I mean, say it right.
Micro processes.
My quote processes. He says it like a.
Yeah, you're right. Because he can't do accents. He's not that great. But it's one of those things where it's like, but it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. Wolf of Wall
so
Street
ridiculous
is also fun
too
to watch.
About I mean, Martin Sheen getting killed at the end. It's just like,
well, I think it's,
and then he kills the other Anthony Anders. I mean, come on.
But I think does that come from the original movie is Infernal Affairs or something like that? Or
I didn't know it was.
It's based off a Japanese movie or an Asian.
So funny. I feel like Infernal Affairs was on. No, Internal Affairs.
Internal Affairs. But Infernal Affairs is another movie. I think I could be wrong, and if you're listening and I'm wrong, tweet at me, because sometimes they'll tweet and say.
Yeah.
And Infernal Affairs is a Japanese movie, and I think they just went by the book. And
oh, really?
That might be why you have that Martin Sheen twist, and you have the Anthony Anderson thing. Also because I think they're trying to keep you gussing.
Yeah.
The Anthony Anderson,
and then
Martin
Nicholson's
Sheen,
an informant the
I
whole
didn't get
time.
why those characters killed Martin Sheen, but when Anthony Anderson gets shot, at that point, I guess you're out, everything's out the window. So you're like, when that got me. I was like, holy shit.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't think he's texting on T9. We talked about this the other day.
Yes, yeah.
He's got the T9 numbers down where he can nail out a text without looking. Come on.
Yeah,
it's
but
impossible.
We could all do that back then.
I don't know if I could.
I could do some things.
What is some other... Oh, God, that scene where it's like... It's Nicholson taking a hand of Coke and just throwing it at... It's just cringeworthy to me. I'm just going, what are you doing? What's Scorsese doing?
Holy shit, you might be right. That's a really corny scene, Alex.
Yeah, it's just
That's corny when he has the. I mean, what with the hookers when he's
Yeah.
He's like, don't. He's like, just dig in or whatever.
he's like, do it till you're numb or
yeah,
something like that. I
It's
can't
not. Well, here's the thing, man. I think I'm going to defend it by
probably
saying
good coke.
I'm going to defend it by saying that I think they purposely do that because the whole point of that movie is that he is impotent. That's what it is. I don't know if you know that. Like at the end when he says he goes all those what does he say? All those something and no sons. All that fucking and no sons.
Oh yeah.
Because what he's doing and the reason that Nicholson's supposed to be like that is because he's impotent. So if you notice, he throws the coke and then you're supposed to think, oh, he can only get hard with the coke, and also he's not fucking them. It's not a scene of him fucking them.
Right.
He's watching them.
Yeah.
So I think that's supposed to be this undercurrent in the movie that the reason he's like that, he's a maniac,
right.
is because he is so insecure about his penis.
All right. So and then you got Leo, who, I mean, just tries to be the biggest tough guy.
There's an issue with Leo, but you know what? Leo's in Wolf of Wall Street too, and I know. I know. I threw that.
Well, he became his De Niro. Scorsese was always worked with De Niro, and then it's like he takes one actor and like I'm just gonna make every movie with you.
Of
now.
course, yeah. But De Niro.
I just hate how they really try and play up the like. I know so many of those guys from Rhode Island and like the Boston with those terrible accents.
It's trying to be tough.
It
tough
gets
guys.
to me for some reason.
Yeah.
What are you on your period? It's come on.
But
Cranberry juice.
Those guys wouldn't say that.
I don't know if you're. I don't know.
Well, you know from college.
I know. Yeah, I know. I had like a bunch of guys from Rhode Island, in like Warwick, Rhode Island,
who talk like that.
They do talk like that,
but they wouldn't have said.
It just seems. I don't know.
He's like my girlfriend drinks when she's on a period. You
yeah,
on your period?
Right.
You might be right. Maybe it is a terrible movie. Alex, is The Departed a terrible movie?
It's a terrible movie.
Maybe I'm blinded.
It's an awful movie.
Maybe I'm blinded by what? Go ahead.
Yeah, why are you rolling over on this guy?
I don't know.
What the fuck is wrong
what
with
we
you?
do here.
I don't know why I'm. maybe.
The acting, talk about Leo's arc, talk about Matt Damon.
Yeah,
Matt Damon
right.
has a great, accurate Boston accent.
Matt Damon does. Well, Matt Damon's a good actor.
Oh, and then the whole thing with the fucking therapist. Well, dude, the rat at the end. The rat has to walk on the fucking railing. We weren't allowed to figure that out for ourselves. Give the viewer a little bit of credit.
That's what the whole movie was about.
I know, but you had to fucking show the rat.
I think there's a lot of symbolism in the movie.
I did like how Mark Wahlberg killed him at the end, and that part was great.
That also kind of beats everything else because it's a great scene. He walks in and he goes,
Yeah.
Okay, and he just shoots him.
Right.
Like that's such a great.
But Vera
death scene.
Farmiga's like the therapist. I mean, can you be more naive?
Honestly, I don't think she was thrown into it. I think once she found out what it was, she was gone. I actually like. All right, there's sometimes I think those characters can like. They have that Bechdel test. They have all these things where they're throwing in female characters that have no substance to them. I think she actually is a pretty great character in the movie. I think she's pretty deeper than some. I didn't mind her as much as other movies that just throw in a female character for the sake of doing it.
All right, well, I hate their relationship.
Who with
her and Matt Damon? Yeah, no, Matt Damon and Vera Farmiga's in it. He's just.
But their relationship is what makes sense of why the DiCaprio thing is so attractive. And it's funny because she's actually getting married or married to the same type of guy that DiCaprio is, but he's just hiding it better. And he's like, you know what I'm saying?
Did she get pregnant? Like, weren't this?
I think at the end she gets pregnant. She's pregnant. She's pregnant at the end.
But I guess, did we never know? Well, I'm just thinking of
she just leaves. She leaves.
But could it be Leonardo's, right?
It
Do we
could
know?
be.
They
might
him.
They might allude to it. Maybe that's what it's allude to. Yeah. And and then she hears his tape, and then maybe that's what when she's crying when she hears his tape, it's supposed to be like she knows it's his kid.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It's a real possibility. You're right though. Matt Damon's really good in it. I was losing my.
I'm thinking of other things now.
The Matt
Tell your mother you're going to be late for supper. Just like, oh God, come on.
Oh come on, that part's not bad. It's like
I give one funny line I do like is I don't have a bank account. The other guy's like, I'm also in the cash business.
Well, here's the other thing is
but it's like, all right. Once he didn't write down his social, you're like, all right, I think that's the guy. I think we figured it out.
You're right. That is a terrible scene where he's like, I'm out of here. And they're like, wait, why are you leaving? He's
Just
like,
write it down.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, okay, I think we figured it out who it was. You know what I mean? I think we have a rat, and he just left.
Yeah, after he leaves, Jack Nicholson's like, it's not Bill. It's not him.
Come on. What kind of gangster are you?
No, that's another great scene. You're a cop scene when he goes outside, and he goes, "You're a cop," and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Anybody who's not talking to us is a cop." Remember? They're out in front of the place. They're waiting to find out what they're going to do. And and he's leaving, and he goes, "You're a cop." And then DiCaprio leaves, and they go, "You're a cop." And he's like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, you didn't talk to it. You didn't look at us. You're a cop." Like, because their joke is,
right.
anybody who's not looking at the lady with the dog, she's a cop. Everybody's a cop.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good line. But but DiCaprio, this is the thing. I will give you this. DiCaprio can act tough. He can't act tough. It's almost like Wolf of Wall Street's a better DiCaprio character.
It's a better vehicle.
But to be honest, by the end of this movie, he does get tough. He does get when he's at like Ray Liotta third act Goodfellas. It's pretty believable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a few issues with Ray Liotta and Goodfellas though too.
Are you out of your mind?
Like minor stuff, like just his over laughing during the funny house scene. He had a signature laugh, Henry Hill. They're just trying to show that. That's my only issue.
Oh my God, you're too nitpicky.
No, it's my favorite.
But here's the thing about it. You know what? I take it back. DiCaprio is great in this movie. I'll tell you why. And I'm getting your respect back, Alex, on this one. DiCaprio is supposed to be that guy in the movie. He's a suburban kid who gets brought into the thing on purpose because he's not a tough guy. But by the end of it, he's pretty badass. He knows his ins and outs of it. He goes, "Are you sure you're not being followed?" Like, he really becomes the real deal by the end of that movie. Like, he's pretty street savvy. Like, at first, he's just a guy at the academy, and he did it because his he wanted to do something. Or I forget what it was. Like, I think his uncle was a cop, whatever it was.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and also, it rings true for me because I went through all the tests to be a cop. Ever tell you that?
Oh, really?
I was almost a cop. I've mentioned it before on the show.
Yeah, I think I did.
And I did it because my dad was a cop.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't follow through with it. I failed the obstacle course. I tried to do a joke about it where I literally ran up to the first obstacle, which is like a 3-foot fence. I tried to hop over it. I couldn't. I hopped down. I walked to my car and I drove home. I didn't talk to anybody. All these dudes were just looking at me. It was like so embarrassing. But it also made me realize, like, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So my thing is this. When it comes to DiCaprio in this movie, it's genius. The casting is genius. Even how everything about it.
We need every Boston guy, like Wahlberg. And they all had to have their.
Well, Wahlberg's really
I'm the guy
good
who does his job. You must be the other guy.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. It's a great line.
It's an alright line.
You know, it's a great line. Alec Baldwin. Well, there's plenty of jobs for bartenders. 2 weeks pay.
2 weeks. Come on, that's a fun. It's almost like
it's overcast.
It's almost like an SNL sketch.
Too many.
It's almost like anything that happens in those offices is like an SNL sketch.
Yeah, exactly. I can't take that shit seriously with all those guys there.
But it's supposed to that's the point of it. They're not trying to be like, oh my God, here's this high drama moment. They have high drama moments in the movie, but they're trying to be like, Baldwin's the comedy relief, and Wahlberg's supposed to be funny in it. You know, I'm telling you, and anything that deals with like that kind of stuff where it's like, I guess it's mafia, Irish
Is it,
mob,
or is that why you love it? You know what I mean? Is that like you find things about it that are funny, where I don't know if other people are necessarily ingesting that as comic relief. I don't know if that's more comic relief or it's just shit we find funny.
Well, what do you think that scene's supposed to be? With the 2 weeks, no pay. It's supposed to be
I honestly can't recall that one on top of my head.
Oh yes, the world needs plenty of bartenders too. Yeah. What did he say? He goes, "I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy." Is that
who are you? I'm the guy.
That's so funny. That's what Alex is saying is perfect about this movie. There's more quotable stuff in it because any Boston accent movie there is, people will love it.
Love it.
I got a number. How do you like them?
Good Will Hunting stinks too. Come on.
Are you crazy? Oh, you fucking wop piece of shit.
Watch it again now.
This is what it is. Andy's very Italian. Fiori is Italian. You can't relate to Irish movies. That's what it is.
I think I can.
No, you can't.
Maybe not.
Good Will Hunting is a great movie. Are you crazy?
When was the last time you saw it?
I watched it on Netflix fairly recently.
It's a lot of. It doesn't hold up as well as you would think.
No, that's not true. It's a good script. Also, knowing the backstory of that movie. Do you know what that movie originally was?
No.
It was, and this is a good fun film fact. Infernal Affairs. It was a.
We made some tweaks.
It was an action movie. Actually, it was like
Really?
Infernal Affairs. Yeah, it was an action movie. When they wrote Ben Affleck's and Matt Damon's original script.
First of all, oh, never mind.
What were you gonna say?
I thought you were calling him Ben Affleck's.
Oh yeah, Ben Affleck's. It's
Are you my dad?
Bowflex. It's a Bowflex.
Ben Affleck's.
It's Bowflex, but you only work out with Ben Affleck. I just got my new.
My dad does that. My dad pluralizes names.
My mom does that.
Just go Ben Affleck's.
No, you fucking asshole. I'm only 40. I'm not 65. I was doing the possessive.
I know, I didn't let you finish.
Yeah. My mom does that. She's like, I have to watch My Good Wife. Oh, no, she goes, The Good Wives.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Good Wife. I'm like, that's The Good Wife. But their script originally was an action movie. It was about like, it was all, the beginning was all the same, but it was like, then he works for like the NSA and it's a whole big thing.
Oh, really?
And then there was
I
like
would love
20
to see that
rewrites.
one.
Rob Reiner apparently took like a red pen to it. It was like, keep this, lose this, add this, bop, bop, bop. And they just kept going back and forth with Rob Reiner, and that's why the movie.
Wow.
But it still
Never
holds
knew.
up. You know why it doesn't hold up? Because it's 97 or 95.
Yeah, it's got a lot of corniness
Was it
to it,
95
though.
or 97?
97.
97.
Yeah.
It's a lot of 90s. We talked about this extensively. I'm not going to get into it on the podcast right now. But movies were made differently back then. They
Yeah.
were. Things were written differently, but it was pre 9/11, and I think there was more optimism going on. People are more aware of shit now. There's more cynicism. There's like more cynicism. That's why I love those USA TV shows they still have, like Monk and when Psych was on,
Yeah.
and all that, because they're like clean shows that are just straight up, and they're like, then they're actually funny. They're not like trying to be push the envelope
Right,
every minute
right,
of every,
right.
you know,
Yep.
and that's a good
That's
break.
fair.
I like that kind of stuff too, but it's a good break from, I think clean comedy is so much harder to do than like fucking dirty, dick jokes.
Yeah.
So anyway, but 90s movies, and this is 2007 this came out, but 97 is Good Will Hunting. They made movies differently back then. 2007, Departed. I think I know what you're saying. Like you're just saying there's corny parts to this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well,
you have to.
I think, like I said, I went back to overcasting. So let me make this point about Wolf of Wall Street. It's for the most part, obviously Jordan Belfort's movie. It's Leonardo DiCaprio's movie, but that has a great ensemble cast too. And you didn't need to get every fucking guy who's done a Boston accent who we know and love to be a part of that cast. Departed doesn't feel like you're shoehorning guys in. You're like, there's Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen. There's Alec Baldwin, Mark Wahlberg. I mean, Affleck's was the only one that wasn't in it. You know what I mean? At this point, why not throw him in?
It sounds like Affleck. Affleck's. I see what you're saying.
Wolf of Wall Street is a fun ensemble cast. You have Jonah Hill, who's great in it. I think he got nominated for an Oscar.
I think he might have.
Or no, maybe I'm thinking of Moneyball.
That's
Either way,
the one.
he's great. The side characters are great. What's her name? We discovered she just played Tanya Harding. I can't remember her name.
Oh, Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie,
who's so unbelievable.
We get her fully nude.
Yeah.
She's
You're right. Yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff about Wolf of Wall Street.
there is, and the hard part about
copious
this.
drug use, which is always fun to watch. Fucking hookers, and it's just a world that I'm not.
Margot Robbie full frontal might be checkmate.
That Alex just gave me shit for bowing down to what you were saying. He goes, you know what? I thought about it. Margot Robbie's supposed to say
I mean,
that did it.
yeah. I mean,
funny.
I think it's
She's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous.
hot. It's a lot of it for me. It's that fascination of mafia, of world I'm so clearly not a part of.
Yeah.
Like I've never been I know a couple guys who are like that from college who went on to be finance guys who are like, boy, they got that down to a fucking T. Just douchebags, tons of coke.
Yeah.
I mean, debauchery. When they go to Vegas, and it's just strewn hookers everywhere and drugs. They're like,
No,
we
yeah.
spent $2 million.
It's like this decadence.
I'm attracted to that stuff. I love that. I think that's a great subplot for the movie.
Do you think you love it because you're like, oh, this is so ridiculous? Or do you think you're like,
Yeah, a lot of it's over the top.
That.
The scene when he recounts how he's just on Quaaludes and then he somehow manages to get back to his house fine.
But
then
car?
we see what really happens.
Yeah. That's a great scene.
I thought
That's
that was
a great
hilarious.
Scene. Yeah, fucking shit.
But
you might have got me on this one. Here's the thing. It's because I'm thinking about it more. I'm like, there's that's a great scene, and it's so much fun to talk about The Departed because of those quotes.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's Well, the Margot Robbie thing's really funny.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, is a little more believable as that kind of guy as Jordan Belfort, as a finance money
I'll
guy.
say that, but I will say, but I'm not going to discount his acting in Departed because he's a really good actor, Leonardo. He's been wanting to be an old man for years and years and years.
Yeah.
He's just dying to get. It's almost like one of those guys when you're a friend that can't grow a beard and has been dying to grow a beard. You know what I mean? Like he's just wanting to be legitimately grizzled for so long. Like even when they show those like paparazzi photos of him where he has a pot belly and stuff, I'm like, and he's purposely trying not to be a heartthrob, but when he's still with like
so funny
10 models and all whatever it is. Like he's been dying to be like Steve Buscemi basically. Not that, but I mean a leading man that's like grizzled, like that you're not like you're 12 when you see him.
Yeah.
Even though he's older than me, but I remember him from Growing Pains when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember that. He played their little brother. What does he play?
Ben.
Is his name on it? Ben, yeah.
Totally.
Oh, right. Is that who he was on?
Yeah.
He was the grown-up
Oh, wait,
baby?
no, he wasn't Ben.
No,
he was,
Ben was the
Ben was
baby.
the little brother.
What?
Oh, what was his name? He wasn't Ben, you're right. Ben was the little brother.
Ben was the other kid that looked like half mentally challenged. He's one of those kids that was cute as a kid. And then
they haven't diagnosed yet, but Ben is clearly on the spectrum.
But
his dad's a therapist. He should know.
Yeah, it was Alan Thicke.
Yeah.
No, I think he was like
You're
an
right. I
orphan
think he wants
that
to be like
came
a
in
Paul
later.
Newman type.
He was like when in The Simpsons where they add Poochie, where they add like that's what DiCaprio was to Growing Pains. Like that's what Poochie was making fun of. They add a new character when the show's getting stale, and then they added on top of that they added the girl from Phenom, the redheaded little girl. She played the baby growing up.
Right.
I think
It was really the Oliver scenario.
Yes, Oliver from Brady Bunch. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that was like way later on. That was like right before Brady Bunch was done, right, Oliver?
At all times, the characters should be saying, "Where's Poochie?"
Yeah.
At all other times, the characters should be asking, "Where's Poochie?"
Where's DiCaprio?
Yeah.
So, you son of a bitch. I think that you've convinced me more.
Wolf of Wall Street's a fun movie.
All right,
I can understand how it's maybe not as rewatchable as Departed. I don't know. I caught myself watching it the other day, and I couldn't fucking change the channel.
You caught yourself.
Wolf of Wall Street was on.
Yeah.
And I kept going back to it. I was watching it again. I'm like, motherfucker, I got sucked in again.
I know. It's one of those movies. You know who else is in it, too? Speaking of beautiful women, is Christine Milioti, who was in How I Met Your Mother. She's the mother in How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
She's so gorgeous, too.
And I'll give you...
Dan Soder knows her. They did a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's right. I know who exactly. Another Aya Cash, who was the girl from... it's a show on, I can't think of it right now, but she plays like the office manager where she's like a really brash, redheaded girl. I love her.
She's super cute.
Yeah.
I forgot who you're talking about, but
she's on a show. It's called like I Hate You So Much or something. It's
I know. Okay,
that's clearly not.
I know
it.
it's gone now. I think it was on FX, right?
It was great. It was really good.
Yeah. With what's his name? With Ken Marino. Is that the show?
No. She has like this English guy who's a writer and is like her boyfriend. And they hate each. What's it called?
Not Catastrophe.
No.
All right, whatever. We'll figure it out. If you know what it is,
It's got
right
a great
in.
cast is the point. Like, there's a lot of good people in that movie.
Well,
Barry
also-
Rothbart's in it.
I know Barry's. Well, also Henry Zabrowski's in it, our friend.
Yeah.
So that's a plus as well. I think anytime there's like crime stuff, I'm drawn to that more than the other stuff.
Yeah.
I like Boiler Room, but I like mob movies better than Boiler Room.
Right.
This is just like Boiler Room.
I mean, it is crime. It is a crime movie.
It is a crime movie. Yeah, it's true. I think casting. You have great casting on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And then you have like, I'm trying to think of like side character casting in The Departed that like might bring it up a notch. And I think like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. You don't
The guy who
need
plays
every
French-
A-list movie star in there. It's too much. That's
But you
too much.
don't,
Give me
because-
some subtlety. You know what I
because
mean?
you have the guy who plays French, and he's not he's not even A-list character actor. Like
I know, but come on.
Did you think the part when he kills himself is he goes fuck it and he just shoots himself? That's kind of badass.
Oh, yeah.
At the
I
end,
forgot
he's
about that.
burning up, and he's like fuck it,
Right,
and he just
right.
shoots himself in the head.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the way I would do it.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not gonna...
There's a bunch of great scenes when he kills him, when he shoots him. He's like, "Yo, rat, fuck!" Like, he shoots when Damon shoots Nicholson.
Yeah.
and he's like, "Come on!" He's like coughing up blood. He's like, "Come on, Carly, you know I had never done you." And he's like, "You rat, fuck!" And he shoots him right there on the car. There's like, I think that's what it is. I think I'm like, I want to. You want to rewatch the movies you love so much that I'm like, ooh, it's Scorsese and it's crime, so it's Goodfellas for a new generation. Like that's what you want it to be. And you're right. It's not as good as Goodfellas.
What's
I would
the
never
theme
say
song?
that.
Shipping up to Boston. What a shocker! Like,
Yeah, but you know what though? That came after that.
Right.
That was like right when that song wasn't that old. Yeah. So fuck you. That is every Irish fighter now has that. Like when you watch TV,
yeah, it is a
fights.
fucking good song. Actually,
It's a good song. It's good. And the other one's great too. Van Morrison and Pink Floyd, "Comfortably Numb" is great too in it.
I don't remember where they are in the movie.
When that song is, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's when he's having sex with Vera, whatever her name is. Yeah. Like it's playing "Comfortably Numb," but it's a live. I think it's a live version with Van Morrison and Pink Floyd.
All right.
And you're a music guy. Come on, that's a big mix. That's a good team up.
Not a huge Pink Floyd guy though.
Well,
Definitely
Van
Van Morrison. Definitely Van Morrison.
Pink Floyd, I don't mind. I'm a big Van Morrison guy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So all right, I feel like there's a.
I just think like, does this feel more? I don't know, man. You're kind of convincing me that there's like elements. All right, how about this? I want to switch to this.
And I'm not saying Wolf of Wall Street is the perfect Scorsese movie ever, but it is a good. I'll defend it against Departed.
Right.
You know what I mean? We were gonna. Go ahead.
You want to do the list?
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, we were gonna jump into that.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Wolf of Wall Street doesn't even crack my top 5 of Scorsese's.
Well, it doesn't crack your top 5.
No, I don't think so.
What would you say your top 5 is? If you
Definitely Goodfellas, obviously. Mean Streets.
Mean Streets is
Raging
two?
Bull. Well, I was just thinking of my top 5, but yes, I mean, it's hard to not put Goodfellas at number 1.
Oh, it has to be.
And then between Mean Streets, I think I like Mean Streets a little better than Raging Bull. Raging Bull, I have sometimes a hard time sitting down and watching if I'm not watching it from the very beginning.
Raging Bull is a better movie than Mean Streets.
Raging Bull is
masterpiece. Mean Streets, I think it was his second movie he made or third movie he made. Mean Streets is like. It's such a great movie, but it's almost like it's baby Scorsese, where it's giving you
right. It's like a prequel.
Like we were talking about before with Alex. There's he did a movie before that even called "Who's That Knocking at My Door."
Yeah.
I think it's just I forget what it's about. It's also another movie where
I've even seen
Scorsese did a lot of movies that were like, "Hey, this is our neighborhood. This is what goes on in our neighborhood." That's basically what Mean Streets is.
Yeah, which I love because I know a lot of Lower East Side guys like that. And
you do? Man, you know a lot of guys. Providence guys. Are you sure not in the mob? I forget, like Lower East Side.
Just like drinking buddies who came up on the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
Where you're like Mink. Yeah, come on. Lingo.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they nailed it. I know guys who talk like that.
Well, I think it's
who hang out in the bars like that.
Literally, it's the right for Mean Streets. It's a great movie, but I think it's the difference between a regular NBA player and LeBron. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at Goodfellas and Mean Streets, you're like, oh, Goodfellas is what you used to say that George Lucas he was practicing. The reason he did all the movies he was doing up until the prequels, the Star Wars prequels, was to just practice all the techniques, digital techniques he wanted to do for the Star Wars movies he was going to do. He knew he was going to do those for a long time. So Mean Streets feels like, hey, that's your first go around of this type of movie, and then Goodfellas like, there we go, that's the home run, you nailed it. You know what I mean? It's like practice for the big one. That's why I don't think I even put it in my top 5.
Mean Streets?
No, I don't.
Oh, cool.
I think I have appreciation more. Well, if you finish your top 5 first, you had 1, you had Goodfellas, 2, you had Mean Streets, 3, you have
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull 3, okay.
And now I can't even think. I'm having a hard time. Let me do yours because I can't remember Scorsese movies.
1 Goodfellas, 2 Raging Bull.
Raging Bull is highly quotable too.
You fuck my wife?
Oh God, how many? A little bit. I mean, just so much stuff.
Well, a little bit's Goodfellas. Nah, you insult him a little bit.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's both.
He goes, Billy.
Oh,
Drinks are on the house.
Drinks are on
the house. He points. That might be top. That's top 10.
Asking me a question?
That's top 10 scenes in a movie.
Oh, it's got to be.
That's as iconic as Funny How.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then I have. I think. What was the one we said before, Alex? What?
Oh yeah, After
Hours. I put After Hours 4. I love After Hours. After Hours 4.
Yeah, I'd probably put that at 4.
I'd put 3. I'd put Departed. After Hours 4.
Maybe I would put.
And then I put Wolf of Wall Street 5, a tie with King of Comedy. King of Comedy is great.
Oh, I love King
of Comedy.
Too.
The only thing, probably Wolf of Wall Street. King of Comedy be in top 10 though because
absolutely,
well, I have to be. He hasn't made that many movies, but I mean, he's made a bunch. But you're gonna get to that at some point. What?
Oh, shit. I can't believe I forgot.
Oh, shit. Taxi Driver?
Taxi Driver probably hovers around the 5 or 6.
Yeah. Taxi Driver is my 5 or 6. I'm not a diehard fan of Taxi Driver. We're going to do it. I don't want to talk too much about Taxi Driver because we're going to do an episode of Taxi Driver versus another movie with Mike Racine coming up. I forget which one it was. So the reason why that movie is so good, it's not the greatest movie, but De Niro, it's like one of the best things he's ever done.
Yeah.
And when you're a comic, you know guys like that.
I know. Yeah.
You know, like, it's an extreme version of this.
Yeah, but
so you appreciate it more when you do stand-up because you're like, the part when he's down and he's doing with the recording and the show, and then his mom, and that's his actual mom.
Yeah.
She does all that stuff. And Scorsese's mom's like, Rupert, what are you doing? You're making too much noise. He goes, Ma, please, I'm doing my show. That is like the saddest and funniest thing at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why Scorsese is so great. Like, he makes things so funny that are super sad.
Yeah, he nails...
Or super awkward, I should say. Like think about Goodfellas when Maury's talking about when he's talking about getting his money back. Give my money back. What am I, a schmuck on wheels?
Yeah,
and then he comes, and then De Niro comes in the back and wraps the telephone cord around his neck, and then his wig falls off. It's like, that's a sad scene.
Yeah,
but it's super funny. It's super funny. They just know the look of stuff. They know they know.
He answers the phone while he's still.
Yeah.
Maurice.
Yeah. He goes, okay. All right. And after he hangs on the phone, he goes, all right. I hear you, babe. I hear you. That's what he says to me. He goes,
Karen, Jimmy.
You know what? My good close personal friend Dan St. Germain, who's a comic we both know.
Yeah,
you know Dan.
yeah.
He got me for my 40th birthday. He got me a signed Ray Liotta picture
that's awesome.
from Goodfellas that's framed.
That's really
He had
cool.
to switch. They sent him the wrong one, so they're switching it out. I can't wait.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, I'm so excited. And you know what scene it is? It's the scene from Goodfellas, and we're just going to end up talking about Goodfellas for the show. Where he drops her off back at her house, and after she got like molested by the dude, her neighbor, the guy she knew, they saw at the pool club. Remember that? And then he like looks in the rear view of the guys. They're fixing the car, and then he walks over to him. And he's in like super tight Italian Guido outfit,
Yeah.
and they're in like their waspy outfits. And he walks in and goes, "What do you want, fucko? You want some?" And he just pistol whips the guy. He goes, "You ever look her way or talk to her ever again? You're dead. You understand? You're dead." That's why that movie's so good, because you're like. It's one of those things, like, Goodfellas are so good, everything's so good, because, like, you want to hang out with those people. Like, you want to, like, just hang out for a day in that world.
I know. I love that world. Dude, I love Karen. When he goes, what happened? She goes, the way she said, this guy I've known all my life. This guy I've known all my life.
Yeah,
Like,
and there's great sound editing in those movies, because it's always hopping to the next thing.
Yeah.
If you notice, as she's yelling about it, it's mixed with a car sound and screeching away.
Oh, yeah.
Into the next scene. Then they're just pulling up into the driveway. That's what he's so great at. And his editor was who? Barbara DeFina? Or his
yeah, I know it's the same person.
Same person,
can't remember.
and then she died. But she's so great at his jump cut. The jump cut.
I was going to say, I love that Scorsese fast.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that so much.
Well,
There's a lot in Raging Bull, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I can't recall him.
I was watching a thing with him, and he talked about he loves the close-up of stuff. And
I love that fast zoom in.
Oh, the fast zoom in and the close-up, like when she has the gun in his face in the bed, and that's totally deliberate. Like that it's insane how he has the serial numbers of the gun on the side of it. It's super close, shot, and it evokes. He's so.
I read the book. I read Henry Hill's book. It's called
Wise Guy.
Wise Guys.
It's the Nicholas Pileggi book.
Yeah, Nicholas. Yeah,
but he, the other thing we should say about Goodfellas. I've said this before on the podcast. Maybe we're talking about Goodfellas so much now. When Tommy gets whacked, do you know who actually did it in real life?
Wait.
It came out recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they couldn't talk about it. John Gotti.
No shit.
Yeah, but he couldn't tell them that because he could. Then if he did that,
right, it would have.
Yeah, because Gotti was still out of jail and alive when that.
Here's something funny. I just watched the Gotti movie with Armand Assante playing Gotti. It's
it was like an
HBO movie. It's good. It's a good movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You out of your mind. There's no way it's a good movie after Goodfellas and all that stuff.
It's a good mob movie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It was Showtime, right? Or HBO? No, Showtime.
Yeah, it was HBO. I have the DVD.
Do you really?
Yeah, he does a good job as Gotti.
Armand Assante.
That's
like when they like. Well, they wanted what's his name to be so tough for so long too. Then he's in Godfather 3. Anthony LaPaglia.
Oh yeah.
And then he just was like better at comedy, so he just started at comedy.
Right.
But I remember they had put him in so many movies that he was supposed to be like a tough guy. Same with what's his name that was in Ocean's 11. He plays the bad guy, Andy Garcia. I feel like they want him to be a tough guy too, and he doesn't come off so tough.
Speaking of guys in the same movies, Bo Dietl is in Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, that's right.
He's
and then,
the guy
then he ran for mayor.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Who is he in? Oh, he's one of
He's the cop. He comes up. He's don't move. What are you baking a cake?
Yeah.
Bye bye, dickhead. That's Bo Dietl.
That's right.
And then
Bye. When they bring the stuff in, they go, "What are you baking?" Because he takes the guy. The one guy takes the thing with his pinky and licks it.
Haven't you always been mystified by that move? Whenever you see cops taste drugs, you go,
How you allowed
You're
to do
gonna
that?
get high a little bit, probably.
Oh, sure.
And then if you have a drug test,
but I guess they're in full view of other cops. They know why they're doing it.
It's always a guy.
Yeah, and also, let's be honest, that was the most corrupt time ever in police. So, no cop's gonna be like, yeah, I saw him do that.
I'm so fascinated by that era of New York too. I love late '70s. I love
Did you
corruption.
watch the documentary, the 8-7?
Yeah, the 7-5.
7-5.
Yeah, I love
It's
Serpico
crazy.
shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm just so fascinated.
So you
by
should love The Departed. It's crooked cops.
I don't know. I like New York. Maybe that's my whole thing. It's a New York Boston hatred.
Maybe
that could be it.
But you're a big Yankees guy, aren't you?
I'm straight New York all
That's
the way.
what it is, you fucking weirdo.
They would figure it out.
That's what it is. You just hate the Red Sox so much. You're like, I don't want any movies. I know you don't like that accent.
It just stems from
some
sports.
Boston troll caught you on the street one day and your Yankees guy was like,
It came out right after the Red Sox won the series.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, they won in 2007 too.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys. I'm not liking this movie.
Yeah, you had some fucking chubby Irish guy with a red face right in your stupid Italian face going, "You fag, you lost, you fucking fag. Go back to Long Island."
Wow, maybe we just therapied through that one for me.
I think we can both say they're both really good. They're both good movies. Wolf of Wall Street's a bad pick for me to make, but you said you would defend it. That's why
I will defend it. And also, let me say this: it's not. I went in a little hot with I hate The Departed. I don't hate really any Scorsese movie. That is like. To me, it's pizza,
statement.
where it's like,
yes,
even bad pizza is still good pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, so it's like even what I consider to be a lesser Scorsese movie is still a good movie.
We could also do like what's the as far as shot better. I think you can go to that. You can go to and you want to go to cinematography. You want to go what has cooler looking shots. And you brought up that last rat shot and they zoom in.
Yeah, I feel like he got away from that a little bit. Like he was more concerned about the story than look.
Absolutely, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think he made it. Maybe the movies became more mainstream looking as he went along.
I feel like probably a lot of young filmmakers go that way. When you're young, idealistic, you're like, this is gonna,
Yeah, and I think he wanted to be more like if you think about it, if you look at the way that Goodfellas is shot, it's pretty avant-garde because, like I just said, all those jump cuts, all those close-ups, because it's your brain making a lot of connections to the next scene, or the sound is bringing to the next scene.
How do we fucking forget Casino? Jesus,
I didn't because I don't think Casino ranks. It's not my top 5. I love it, but I don't. Movie-wise, he made so many better movies. I would say Wall Street's a better movie than Casino is.
Interesting. I like Casino better. I think Casino's pretty highly quotable, too, if we're going to go that route.
Oh, are you kidding me?
There's a lot in there.
Oh, my God. Charlie fucking M? You only had to bust your eyeballs out of your head for Charlie M? For that piece of shit?
Because he's got that Kansas City accent.
Yeah.
That, to me, is
That's why you don't mind it, because it's not Boston.
Yeah.
Because you hate Boston.
To me, my favorite Pesci thing is how he starts and ends an insult with you. It's just he bookends it with everything.
You motherfucker, you
get this. There's a beautiful piece of acting when they go and meet in the desert in Casino, and they're kind of interrupting. He goes, "Get this through your head, you Jew motherfucker, you." He starts and stops it again. You're like, that's good, choices.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's awesome. And there's
I would put Casino in the top 5.
Casino is also. That was after Goodfellas.
It was too close to Goodfellas.
He was trying to make it Goodfellas too, and also the real life guy apparently was because they allude to it in the movie.
Sam Ace Rothstein.
I think he was very flamboyant. I think he was.
Yeah,
I think people thought he was gay.
Oh, really?
Well, I get that.
They dress him pretty flamboyantly.
They do dress him flamboyantly, but they make back then it's like when they're saying stuff like that. In the movie they say they like him wanting to have his own show. Like there's things in the movie that like you think they're alluding that he's gay, but
Right.
De Niro's so tough that you're like,
Yeah.
oh, but that's not flamboyant. That's weird. It doesn't match. I think it was poor casting. They shouldn't have De Niro do it. They should have somebody else do it. They
You
should
won't
have
try and push it through now, won't you, Mr. Clerk?
He goes,
I'm giving you 50 grand cash.
Senator,
here.
when you were a guest in my hotel, when he's like chasing Tommy Smothers, or
Yeah.
whatever, Dick Smothers, or whichever one it is. No, Casino is fun to watch. It's not as good as the other ones we've been talking about. I think as a movie,
Well, I mean, yeah, we forgot about it, so
I think also, but it does still have that early Scorsese jump, there's a great shot when, like you said, the one you just said, when they go to meet in the desert, and I don't even know how they did it. That's what he's known for, Scorsese. Like all these shots where like you don't know how he does it. Like the kitchen shot in Goodfellas, people talked about. They're like, oh, they lit it for days. They hid lights everywhere, and it took forever, like 2 weeks to film it or something crazy like that because you couldn't have any lights showing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's probably an easy explanation for this. How do they do the glasses scene? They show De Niro's Cadillac going right through Pesci's glasses. Now it might be digital. I don't know. Maybe it just
That
superimposed
seems
on
like
it.
it was before that time where that would
Right.
be.
I have a feel. I thought maybe they just and shot
that's
it
good
off the
movie making.
glasses. Like
Yeah,
like
could've
that's
been.
that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, totally.
Because how do you do that without showing you're filming, reflecting the camera? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I might be an idiot, and everybody's like, asshole. It's
I know.
digital.
I have
You know,
no
like,
idea how
yeah.
they do that shit either.
Well, I think we came to the conclusion that Martin Scorsese is a very good filmmaker.
Yeah.
and I
love
do.
him.
I still stick with Departed, but you brought up some really good points.
All right.
Do you want to plug anything before we go?
When's this coming out?
This will come out not this Friday, the following Friday.
Oh, then I'll be headlining Comedy Works at Saratoga Springs June 15th and 16th. So
yes, really
check it out.
awesome area and really awesome club.
And
Go
then,
check out
yeah,
Andy.
Just find all my dates and everything.
And
on
what's
social
your
media.
Twitter and your Instagram?
Everything is at Andy Fiori. Website's andyfiori.com. It's AndyFiori. So you can find me. I'll just put my name in.
Cool, man. And we're retooling things on the podcast.
So much
let
fun.
us, it's so much fun. Let us know what you think. Write to us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com. Also, check out the Showbiz Studios. They have a YouTube page. They also have an iTunes page. So check that out. And then the at Defend Your Movie on Twitter, right? Is that what you are? Defend Your Movie on Twitter. At Defend Your Movie on Twitter. And hashtag Defend Your Movie on Instagram. And let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the new format. It's versus now. It's not one movie. We hope you guys like it. We need feedback. Also, review us online and tell all your friends to listen. Thank you so much. Thank you to Alex and Showbiz, and we'll see you next week.